Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm It's Robbie Rhino, and in today's video you'll be watching part 2 of my 3-part series of my road to 3 marks of excellence in the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA. So this is the Era 2 French Western Alliance premium light tank, and as I said in part 1, it is probably my favourite premium tank inside the whole of WoT Tanks console, but definitely inside the Cold War game mode. And I have 3 replays for you today, pretty good games, and as they go through this 3-part series, the games do get substantially better until I show you my 3-mark game. So in today's video we are here first up on Karelia in a standard battle, and we raced into position as quickly as possible because with the True Vision system, if you are sort of dawdling around, taking your time, getting into position, you can be spotted and caught out in the open, as this is a very open map. So we've come to this position here behind this rock where we can peek out behind the bushes and all of the foliage from the trees and try and get some early spots off into tanks making their way into position in the centre and towards the north of the map. And we have already picked up some assistance, 1.1k assistance and 1.1k direct damage, and I'm trying to make the most of my primary gun as well as the ATGMs here, because I know I will probably run out of ATGMs in this tank in every game that I play, especially as aggressively as I like to play my light tanks. But before I talk any more about the gameplay, I'll talk you through my commander and equipment setup, and then we'll get back talking to map positions and what I'm doing in the gameplay. So in terms of my equipment, advanced concealment, I run both the pieces of mobility equipment, the advanced powertrain and the traction system, because mobility isn't this light tank's strongest point. Concealment and the ATGMs are. And in terms of my commander skills, I run Sixth Sense, Born Leader, Rapid Loading, Camouflage, Expertise, Muffled Shot, Green Thumb, Steady Aim, Rapid Aim and Snapshot. And if you wanted to, you could take the snapshot off to put Run and Gun there, because firing on the move isn't great with this primary gun. It's a little bit derpy, and yeah, you want to try and maximize the base accuracy and gun handling of this primary gun as much as possible. But that's what we're going to talk about for the stats in today's video. Let's get stuck into the gameplay, where we've picked up a little bit more damage and we've just popped our enhanced smoke screen, trying to get out of harm's way, because this is soft terrain here in the kind of swampy area. We are going to get caught out if we are not careful. I'm trying to play quite aggressively here in the centre to get vision out for my team, relying on the fact that this tank has fantastic concealment, and we've boosted it up with my setup, trying to get the most out of this vehicle. I'm usually quite careful about knocking down trees, because it does give your position away to people that are watching out for that. However, I'm kind of confident here in the centre. No one seems to have noticed me yet, and I'm just trying to push the vision out as much as possible. I'm reversing very slowly in this position, as I know if I get spotted I'm going to have to run away, and the reverse speed of this tank isn't great. You saw a very derpy unaimed shot there go wide, but I'm going to take chancy shots because you miss every shot that you don't take. And whilst we're reloading our ATGMs, I'm going to reload my primary gun and get out of harm's way and try to find a new avenue of approach. So here on Karelia, I do like to take that initial position that we've taken up to get some spotting out towards the centre and north of the map. If I was in a main battle tank, something like that, a lot of tanks obviously do go down that zero line into the hill where those 2 mediums are situated in G6 and G7. However, light tanks do really well out in the field. I've got to be very careful here because I am the only one on the sort of western side of the map, as you can see here, and towards the north. And there are enemies, as we can see now, with the True Vision system sort of moving in towards our base. So I'm going to sort of flutter around here in the centre, try and get some ATGMs, maybe some shots off towards tanks that are distracted in the south, clear out this central ground. Then we can also revert back to defending the base if we need to. And as we can see, we are being capped. There's 36 seconds left as I am speaking now, and we're going to try and reset now on this Magak 5. Very nasty ATGM. Try a chancy unaimed shot here, and you can see that the aiming on the move is horrific. And if you can't deal with that, then I would maybe take another concealment, take off the snapshot and then add in a couple more gun handling skills and run and gun, especially to improve the accuracy of this vehicle, because it isn't great. It's all about these ATGMs in my opinion, and we do get a nice ATGM there on the move firing at that BMP2. However, the BMP2 and most light tanks in Era 2 are quicker than this vehicle, even when you use both pieces of mobility equipment. So what we're going to try and do now is to evade fire in this game, and we are going to try and stay in by keeping moving. I've been very aggressive because I thought I might as well sacrifice myself in order to be able to defend the base, give my team enough time to be able to get back. And I had hit points to play with, and I'm just trying to get as much damage and assistance as possible as quickly. I'm not too fussed on staying alive in this game because I know that I've given my team enough time, and even if they're semi-competent, they should be able to reset the base from here, and hopefully this will be a victory. It's 6 versus 2. We're capturing their base, so 1 reset on our behalf would do it, as long as this M60A2 stays in position behind that rock and doesn't give him his silhouette away, because you can reset both bases, I believe, from either cap circle and definitely from the spawn points. Unfortunately, our Ignis Brigatio, they're going in and coming out clutch. They're taking out that Magak 5, and that is a victory here on Karelia for the first game of today's video. We finished with a lovely profit without a premium account, up to 87.3 on the marks. MVP on our team, 1 kill, 7.7 direct, 3.9k assistance and 11.6k combined damage game there on Karelia. So that ends the first gameplay. We're now going to head on into the second gameplay, so I'll see you over there in just a second. So now we are on Westfield in the AMX 13 SS-11 TCA, and Westfield is the creme de la creme of maps for light tanks inside World of Tanks console. You do have to be very careful, especially in the Cold War game mode, because of the True Vision system, about going to where I'm going. But if you don't go to where I'm going now, or go down the zero line, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you are playing a light tank, because now we can get lovely spotting across the south and at tanks that are making their way down the zero line on the enemy team. And as we are relatively quick, not the quickest light tank, but relatively quick, we are able to get into position and we can hide in a shadowy bush and try and get some vision out. I'm going to reverse into position because we can go forwards and escape if we get spotted. And I'm going to try and spot enemy tanks out, and we managed to get the jump on that BMP2. Obviously, he might not have a fully skilled commando or hasn't set it up like we have to improve our concealment. We managed to outspot that BMP2. We get the spot, and I thought it was worth just firing the ATGM. I knew I was going to get lit up, so I could get away very quickly. I'm going to reset my spotting, and then we can go back as we're no longer spotted and push vision out. And as we haven't spotted anyone else down the sort of zero line towards the south of the map, I'm going to push quite aggressively now forwards and just try and do some active spotting on the move. This isn't the best tank for doing the active spotting because you do struggle with the mobility. The whole traverse isn't great, even though we have used both pieces of mobility equipment, but we are getting some nice assistance, and we're already up to 3,978 assistance and that 180 GM's worth of 1,039 damage. And now it's all about getting as much assistance and damage out of this game. It looks like the whole of the enemy team, barring maybe this M103A2 and this Leopard to my left and straight ahead of me, apart from that, the enemy team are going to be situated into the sort of northwest corner on that brawling location and all the hills. And as soon as we clear out this southern location, we can move up that hill and peek the top of the ridge lines to my right and see if we can get some more spotting that way. But we're going to go in on this Leopard 1, and we managed to fire a beautiful ATGM there on the move. We do take a shot in return, but we ammo rack that Leopard 1, send him back to the garage, and with the great module damage of these ATGMs, you can do that quite often. Not only with this tank, with the BMP2 and other tanks that carry ATGMs, you always have that chance for module damage, for setting fires, and for ammo racking and sending people back to the garage. And if we didn't managed to ammo rack that Leopard 1. We could have gone in with this primary gun, and that's the beauty of tanks with this multiple weapon system. You can just switch between them, no time penalty, and as long as you are fully loaded with both, then you are good to go. And you've got to keep an eye on your ammo count in tanks like this. You do run out of ATGMs with this vehicle very frequently. Make sure if you're going to go into an engagement, you know you have enough firepower to take them out, and if you miss a shell, you want to make sure you've got backup firepower in the terms of your primary gun to fight back against your opponent. So we go in on this T-72 M1, we put an ATGM there. It doesn't penetrate, but we do a substantial amount of sort of splash damage, and now we can circle him with our primary gun. Unfortunately, we don't have enough firepower now, so as we've circled him once, we're going to leave him behind the hard cover and get away. Unfortunately, I drive like a complete pellet there into the building, but fortunately he's turned his attention to this heavy tank to my left, so we can take that opportunity to put an ATGM right through the side. And there's one of the fires I was talking about when talking about the module damage, and that means as soon as we can get around this vehicle, we should be able to take him out with our primary gun. Unfortunately, this tank does struggle, as I've mentioned earlier, with the whole traverse, so we're going to have to put some distance between us and him and focus on this BMP2, which we can definitely take out with our primary gun and the poor penetration this vehicle has. And we do not want to get close enough for that BMP2 to put an ATGM into us. And as we are running away, we're still getting some nice assistance, spotting assistance that is, on this BMP2 and this T-72 M1. The T-72 M1 gets taken out, so we can turn our attention, now we're fully loaded again, back to this BMP2, trying to use the free camera there and the true vision system to see where he might be. And fortunately, we have set ourselves up in such a way that we are very good with our concealment. One mistake there I made, I shouldn't have gone into the capture circle because that does give away my position. However, it means we do eventually spot that BMP2. That could have been our demise. We should have gone around the capture circle, and that's something that I always try and do and that I recommend. However, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you obviously don't think, and we managed to get the kill on that M60 on the ridgeline, taking him out of the battle and finishing this battle off on Westfield, where we pick up a pretty nice damage total there. We finished MVP in our team, 1604 base experience points. We finished with a nice profit with or without a premium account, 3 kills, 6.1k direct damage, 6.4k assistance, and we blocked 30 damage. I do not know how. I must have been praying to the RNG gods, but that's it for this game here on Westfield. These games aren't all in sort of sequential order. They get better in terms of their overall combined damage rating. That's why the mark looked like it jumped down. So that's it for this game here on Westfield. We're now going to pop on into the third and final game of today's video and see what we can get up to in the AMX 13. So I'll see you over there in just a second. So we are now on Dukla Pass in the third and final gameplay of today's video. We are in the AMX 13, spawning in the northeast, and we're going to make our way into the centre of the map, try and spot some people getting their way into position. Then we're going to go into the south towards where the main battle tanks sort of brawl it off, and then hopefully we can catch someone getting in position with an ATGM at the start of this battle. So whilst I was trying to 3-mark this vehicle, it was around a month ago now. The requirements were slightly higher than they are as I'm putting this video out on the 1st of September. If you wanted to 3-mark the AMX 13 right now on the 1st of September, you need a combined damage total of 5,580 or higher to be able to 3-mark this vehicle. And of course you do have to battle with the 3-mark system, which was changed, or the Marks of Excellence system that was changed not too long ago, so it is a lot harder now. You do have to be slightly more consistent with that combined damage, and it was a little bit of a pain at the time. The vehicle was in a sale, so a lot of people were playing this tank, but a lot of players must have played it, because usually when this tank goes on sale, or a tank goes on sale, the requirements drop down. However, in this case, for some reason they went up. People must have been playing this tank very, very well indeed. The best players getting their hands on this tank that have missed out and dramatically increasing the requirements. However, it's dropped down a little bit by about 2,000 combined damage, so now is a good time to try and 3-mark this vehicle. So we've made this our way into position in the H7 location. You can see there are some bots, if I can remember how to speak, in this gameplay. So we put an ATGM into a bot there, as it's turned its attention to another player, and it looks like he was coming after us, but the turret's turned the other way, so we get a quick show in there with the primary gun, and now we can turn our attention to an actual player in the form of this Type 82. We put one right into the rear of that tank there. I believe we either set him on fire and he used a fire extinguisher there, and we also damaged his engine. We're up to 2.5k damage, and we're going to be the sort of forerunner on this flank, because as you can see, the whole of the map is left wide open. All of our team have come this way, so we're going to lead at the front here, try and get the spotting assistance, but also try and push the tempo of this battle, because there's a very good chance a lot of the enemy team have gone towards the north and our base is at risk. So what I'm going to do is turn around now into the centre, try and get some spots on anyone in this sort of mid-ridge, and then we can hopefully go back to base. We do fire an ATGM there pretty well on the move, trying to keep my sort of driving hand as steady as possible and just guiding the ATGM. However, the Centurion 9 does back away, and it's quite annoying missing an ATGM in the AMX 13 because you can only carry 2 full magazines of 4 ATGMs, so 8 ATGMs in total, and if you're not careful you will run out, and if you're just left with the primary gun it's very, very difficult to make it work. You have poor penetration, it's very derpy indeed, and especially as we have improved the concealment and the mobility of this vehicle, it means we didn't have many skills left to improve the gun handling, so I try and get as much damage out of the ATGMs and only use the primary gun to finish off tanks like that Centurion 9 there, and as a last resort. So we do have 3 ATGMs left, and we're going to hopefully get one into this Sheridan. I'm going to try and advance on this Sheridan to make sure I make the most of his ATGM. We put one right through the front of the Sheridan, as he did miss about 2 seconds prior to us firing, and now we are going to try and get away from the Sheridan. Unfortunately, I drive into a dead wreck, and that's where we carry the enhanced smoke screen to get out of a jam and yeah, try and avoid taking damage because of our horrific driving. Unfortunately, in this engagement, it means that we have had to not been able to get back to the base as quickly as possible, so now we're going to rush backwards. Everyone's flagging to defend the base. There's 5 seconds left. We aren't going to be able to get there, so we are going to have to rely on our teammates to reset the base. Fortunately, someone does reset some of the capture points, and then again, meaning we are able to get back and defend the base ourselves. So thankfully we had some people paying attention on our team. Unfortunately, a lot of these players on the enemy team are bots as well, meaning that we can't sit on this ridge and get an ATGM there into someone else. And now we only have 1 ATGM left, and we have 51 rounds with our primary gun, so we're going to have to do a lot of work by the looks of it with our primary gun. We're now going to unload into this M60. He's turned his attention to someone else. That looks like it might have been a bot. By the look of the name, they're all sort of constellations at this point, and now of course they do have some very, very weird and funny names, but fortunately we managed to get some shots into the rear of this M60A3. We did miss the ATGM there, very, very poor aim. What I believe happened was we were on a slight downslope and I couldn't move the gun up, and that means that I wasn't able to guide the ATGM any further than the gun elevation of this tank, so definitely something to be aware of. Fortunately, we're doing alright in this game. We can fire on this Sheridan. We try to give as much lead there as possible and do a little ram to finish him off, as we are full health. And yeah, fortunately someone else put him out of his misery, as we didn't do enough damage to take that Sheridan off. And now it's just trying to get the most out of these last 2 tanks. We've already got a massive combined damage game here, so it didn't matter really that we missed the ATGM. Just slightly annoying, and yeah, pretty bad aim on my part. T72 AV gets taken out. There's just this M50 left, and that is a very, very sneaky boy indeed. If he set it up correctly, we're only going to be able to spot him when we get into proximity detection range, or if he fires. Fortunately, we've paid attention to where he is on the map. We somehow bounce off of a tank with no armor. Yeah, that's World of Tanks things doing World of Tanks things. And yeah, now we can circle this M50. He's got a limited gun traverse, he isn't the fastest tank like we are, pretty sluggish with the engine power, which means that we can now reload and just get behind this tank. And if we don't get the damage, hopefully we can be able to get the spotting. So this M50 is going to try and brake check me, does a relatively decent job there. Fortunately, we've got loads of health, so we're just going to have a fire off, and as we get going down this slope, he won't be able to keep up with our speed, meaning that we're going to try and reload again for the third time to get the last remaining damage in this battle. Unfortunately, Izar in the M60A3 takes him out, meaning that although we did get over 10k, we didn't get our last magazine in, and that's 2 kills, 10.6k direct damage, 2,200 assistance, a lovely profit with or without a premium account into the 92% mark for this 3-mark journey, and that's a 12.8k combined damage game there on Dukla pass with some bots, but yeah, who really counts when you are trying to get that 3rd mark or just make some silver. So that's it for this video with the 3 gameplays in the AMX 13. There's one more to come with 3 more gameplays in that one, including the game where I achieved the 3 mark of excellence in this tank. Let me know if you are trying to 3 mark or if you enjoy this tank in the comments below. As it's September, there'll be more giveaways coming on YouTube and on my Twitter account, so check out the description for that. And until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.